Do you think he really got liposuction to lose weight?
On some G shit though, I really feel like y'all playing with me because I really been said fuck this shit. We can't go to the next question.
All right, we can move on. I just like, you had some funny bars in the whole thing that I just kind
I ain't on that,
of
bro.
wonder
You
if it
trying
was
to
serious or
spark the
not.
shit back up.
Nah, we
I ain't on that.
Nah, we money
We
back
ain't
too.
talking about that right now.
Yo, what's good, gang? Your boy back with another explosive breakdown, and today we diving deep into some Memphis street politics that's about to turn deadly, no cap. We talking about how Pooh Shiesty just threw a grenade into what everybody thought was a dead beef between his day one homie Big 30 and Moneybagg Yo. On his new track FDO, Shiesty dropped a line that got the whole city talking. I heard street dudes getting tummy tucks, told you these rappers lame. Now, if you know Memphis politics, you know exactly who he talking about, and this type shit is about to get real deadly, for real. Let me break down this whole timeline for y'all, from how Big 30 first linked up with Moneybagg, to how their brotherhood turned into pure hatred, and now how Pooh Shiesty just lit the fuse on a bomb that's been waiting to explode. This ain't just rap beef no more, fam. This is street war disguised as music. To understand how we got here, we gotta go back to the beginning when Big 30 was just another young demon from South Memphis trying to make it out the trenches. Big 30, real name Rodney Wright, came up in the Killer Switch bitch gang KSBG on the south side. And from jump, this dude was different. He got kicked out of school multiple times for disruptive behavior before even making it to high school, and eventually ended up in alternative school. But that didn't help much either. The streets were calling, and Big 30 answered that call early. He linked up with his childhood friend Pooh Shiesty, and together they formed Choppa Gang with their homies Lil Hank and Choppa Wop. These weren't regular teenagers, gang. They were terrorizing South Memphis and building a reputation as one of the most feared crews in the area. Big 30's name itself is a reference to his favorite weapon, and he quickly rose through the ranks to become one of the most respected shooters in the city. But here's where the story gets interesting, and this is where family ties come into play. Big 30's cousin was a dude named Big Noki, and Noki was already making moves in the streets and had connections throughout Memphis. Noki was the bridge that connected Big 30 to Moneybagg Yo's world. When Moneybagg Yo was building his bread gang empire, he was looking for authentic street talent, not industry plants or fake gangsters, but real demons who could bring that raw energy to his music. Through Noki, Moneybagg got introduced to Big 30, and the connection was immediate. Moneybagg saw something special in Big 30. This wasn't just another rapper trying to make it. This was a certified street legend who could actually rap. Big 30 had the perfect combination of street credibility and musical talent that Moneybagg needed for his label. Plus, having Big 30 and Nusky on the team gave Moneybagg some serious muscle in Memphis, which was important for a dude who was navigating some dangerous street politics. The signing made perfect sense for both sides. Big 30 got the platform and resources he needed to take his music career to the next level, while Moneybagg got two certified demons who could hold their own in any situation. It looked like a match made in heaven, and for a while, it was. When Big 30 first signed to Bread Gang through CMG, everything was love. Moneybagg treated him like family, not just another artist on the roster. They were making music together, performing together, and building something special in Memphis hip-hop. Big 30 was grinding hard, dropping tracks that were getting millions of views and building his own fan base while representing for Bread Gang. His connection with Pooh Shiesty was also paying off, as Shiesty was simultaneously building his own empire with Gucci Mane's 1017 label. The Choppa Gang was really taking over, with both Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty making major moves in the industry. During this period, Big 30 was featured on some of Moneybagg's biggest tracks, and Moneybagg was supporting Big 30's solo career. They had genuine chemistry in the studio, and their collaborations were hitting different because the brotherhood was real. But even during the good times, there were signs that not everything was perfect. Big 30 was still very much connected to the streets, and his loyalty was always divided between his music career and his street obligations. This would eventually become a major source of tension. Everything changed on January 28th, 2022, when Big Nusky was shot and killed in the Whitehaven neighborhood of Memphis. This wasn't just a random act of violence. Nusky's death was connected to some serious street politics that would eventually tear apart the Bread Gang family. According to Big 30, Nusky had been putting in work for Moneybagg Yo, handling street business that Moneybagg couldn't handle himself. Big 30 claimed that Moneybagg was getting extorted by some dudes in Memphis, so he signed Big 30 and Nusky to be his muscle and protect him from the pressure he was facing. The night Nusky died, he had just left Big 30's show at a local high school. He was showing love and support to his cousin, just like family should. But just a couple hours after leaving that show, Noki was found dead, shot multiple times in the same neighborhood where he grew up. What made this situation even more painful for Big 30 was Moneybagg's reaction, or lack thereof. According to Big 30, Moneybagg posted some broken heart emojis on social media expressing his hurt over Noki's death. But when it came time for the funeral, Moneybagg was nowhere to be found. This was a major violation in Big 30's eyes. In street culture, showing up for someone's funeral is one of the most basic signs of respect. If you claim to love someone, if you claim they were family, you show up when they're being laid to rest. Moneybagg's absence spoke volumes to Big 30 about where his loyalties really lay. After Newski's death, the relationship between Big 30 and Moneybagg started deteriorating rapidly. Big 30 felt like Moneybagg had used him and his cousin for protection, but when it came time to show real loyalty, Moneybagg was missing in action. The business side of their relationship was also becoming problematic.
For music, and tell me if I'm wrong, it seemed like it was a personal reason why you took a break.
I was going through something. I had to get my mind right. I had lost a close friend, really.
Yeah. How much did that, like, I mean, obviously it weighed on you a lot. That's why you took the break from music. But was it just confusing for you? Like, you just couldn't believe it happened?
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't believe it.
Big 30 felt like he wasn't getting the support he deserved from Bread Gang, and he started exploring other options. According to Moneybagg, Big 30 was trying to make moves behind his back, attempting to secure deals with other labels without going through proper channels. This is where the situation gets really messy because both sides have different versions of what happened. Moneybagg claims that Big 30 was being disloyal and trying to snake him, while Big 30 claims that Moneybagg was holding him back and not honoring their agreement. The tension finally boiled over when Big 30 released a track called How Could You, where he aired out all his grievances with Moneybagg. This wasn't just a diss track. This was Big 30 exposing what he saw as Moneybagg's fake character and explaining why their relationship had fallen apart. When Big 30 dropped How Could You, he didn't hold anything back. He called out Moneybagg for not showing up to Noki's funeral, accused him of using them for protection, and basically painted Moneybagg as a fake street dude who talks tough but doesn't back it up. Big 30 rapped about how Moneybagg signed him and Noki because he needed muscle, not because he believed in their music. He claimed that Moneybagg was getting pressured by some real street dudes and needed certified demons to protect him. Moneybagg couldn't let that slide, so he responded with Airball, and this track was vicious. Moneybagg called Big 30 a snake who was trying to make deals behind his back. He claimed that Big 30 was capping about everything and that he had actually helped Big 30 more than Big 30 was willing to admit. In Airball, Moneybagg also addressed the Nusky situation, but from his perspective. He claimed that he was hurt about Noki's death too, but that Big 30 and Newski had jumped into beef that wasn't even theirs, chasing clout instead of handling real business. The most devastating part of Moneybagg's response was when he demanded that Big 30 return his Bread Gang chain, saying that Big 30 wasn't solid enough to represent the brand anymore. Big 30 wasn't about to let Moneybagg get the last word, so he took to social media to expose even more details about their relationship. He posted a series of messages that painted Moneybagg as a fake gangster who needed protection from real street dudes. According to Big 30, Moneybagg was getting extorted by some Memphis dudes, so he started signing rappers from Big 30's hood to have muscle around him. Big 30 claimed that Moneybagg wasn't really about that life and that his tough guy image was all for show. Big 30 also addressed the jewelry situation, saying that the only thing Moneybagg ever gave him was a cheap chain and that he had already paid Moneybagg back for it. He claimed that he had been getting money since he was 18 and never needed Moneybagg's help financially. One of the most disrespectful things Big 30 said was that Moneybagg was fake hurt about Noki's death online, posting broken heart emojis and acting devastated, but then not even showing up to the funeral. Big 30 said, "We brought life to that shit, made the city respect you. My homie's gone over that lame shit and you ain't even come to his service." One of the most talked about aspects of this beef was Big 30's allegations about Moneybagg getting plastic surgery. In his diss track, Big 30 rapped, "Claim a time you see me without a Glock in the 223 or name a time you see me without a Glock or a DRC. I work out and go lose weight. Ain't no way in hell I'm paying a doctor to redo my face." This was a direct shot at rumors that Moneybagg had gotten cosmetic surgery, including liposuction and other procedures to improve his appearance. In hip-hop culture, especially in street rap, getting plastic surgery is seen as soft and unmanly. Big 30 was essentially calling Moneybagg a fake pretty boy who was more concerned with his appearance than his street credibility. Moneybagg responded to these allegations in his own diss track, saying, "I'm calling this shit how I see it. What makes you think I'll play with my skin? Surgery? Where? Out of shape ass people don't even know nothing about the gym." But the damage was done. The plastic surgery allegations became a major talking point in Memphis, and people started questioning Moneybagg's authenticity.
Do you think he really got liposuction to lose weight?
On some G shit though, I really feel like y'all playing with me because I really been saying fuck this shit. We can't go to the next question.
All right, we can move on. I just like, you had some funny bars in the whole thing that I just kind
I ain't on that,
of
bro.
wonder
You
if it
trying
was
to
serious or
spark the
not.
shit back up.
Nah, we
So I ain't on that.
Nah, we with
We
Moneybagg
ain't
too.
talking about that right now.
While all this drama was unfolding between Big 30 and Moneybagg, Pooh Shiesty was locked up in federal prison fighting his own legal battles. Shiesty had been arrested in connection with a shooting and robbery in Florida and was facing serious time. Even though Shiesty was behind bars, his loyalty to Big 30 never wavered. These two had been best friends since childhood, founding members of Choppa Gang, and their bond was unbreakable. When the beef between Big 30 and Moneybagg started heating up, there was never any question about which side Shiesty would take. What made this situation interesting was that Pooh Shiesty had actually collaborated with Moneybagg Yo on several tracks before the beef started. They had a professional relationship and mutual respect in the studio. But when it came down to choosing between business relationships and day one loyalty, Shiesty chose his homie without hesitation. From prison, Shiesty was getting updates on the situation and supporting Big 30 however he could. He couldn't physically be there for the beef, but his influence and reputation were still felt throughout Memphis. Everyone knew that when Shiesty came home, he would have Big 30's back 100%. After months of back and forth disses and social media drama, it seemed like Big 30 and Moneybagg had decided to squash their beef. Both sides stopped releasing diss tracks, the social media posts died down, and people started thinking that maybe they had worked things out behind the scenes. There were rumors that some OG figures in Memphis had stepped in to mediate the situation and convince both sides to focus on their music instead of destroying each other. Given that both Big 30 and Moneybagg had legitimate careers and fan bases, it made sense for them to move on from the drama. For a while, it looked like the peace was holding. Big 30 continued working on his music, and Moneybagg kept building his empire. The Memphis hip-hop scene seemed to be moving forward without the toxic energy of their beef. But anyone who really understood the situation knew that this peace was fragile. Too much had been said, too many lines had been crossed, and too much pain had been caused for things to just go back to normal. The beef might have been dormant, but it wasn't dead. When Pooh Shiesty was finally released from federal prison, the entire Memphis hip-hop scene was watching to see what he would do. Everyone knew that Shiesty was one of the most talented and dangerous rappers in the city, and his return was going to shift the balance of power. Shiesty wasted no time getting back to the music, and his first track after his release was FDO, First Day Out. This was supposed to be a celebration of his freedom and a declaration that he was back in the game, but Shiesty had other plans. In FDO, Shiesty dropped a line that immediately caught everyone's attention. "I heard street dudes getting tummy tucks told you these rappers lame." To anyone familiar with the Big 30 and Moneybagg beef, this was clearly a shot at Moneybagg and the plastic surgery allegations that Big 30 had made. This wasn't some subtle subliminal either. This was a direct disrespect that reignited all the old tensions. Shiesty was essentially saying that he hadn't forgotten about the beef and that Moneybagg's supposed peace treaty with Big 30 didn't extend to him. Pooh Shiesty's diss on FDO is significant for several reasons. First, it shows that the Choppa Gang hasn't forgotten or forgiven what happened during the beef. Even though Big 30 and Moneybagg might have agreed to stop the public drama, the underlying issues were never really resolved. Second, Shiesty's return adds a new dynamic to the situation. While Big 30 is talented and respected, Pooh Shiesty is on a different level. He's got national recognition, a deal with Gucci Mane's 1017 label, and a reputation as one of the most dangerous rappers in the game. His involvement escalates everything. Third, the timing of this diss is crucial. Shiesty could have come home and focused on rebuilding his career, staying out of drama and making money. Instead, he chose to immediately jump back into Memphis street politics. This suggests that the issues between Chopper Gang and Bread Gang run much deeper than most people realized. With Pooh Shiesty now back on the streets and clearly not interested in keeping the peace, this situation is about to get extremely dangerous. We're not just talking about rap beef anymore. We're talking about real street war between two of the most connected crews in Memphis. Moneybagg Yo's Bread Gang has deep ties throughout the city and the resources to handle any situation. But Chopper Gang, with Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty leading the charge, has a reputation for being absolutely ruthless. These aren't rappers playing gangster. These are real street demons who happen to rap. The plastic surgery diss might seem like a small thing to outsiders, but in street culture, disrespect like this demands a response. Moneybagg can't let Shiesty come home and immediately start disrespecting him without consequences. His reputation and his safety depend on how he handles this situation. What we're witnessing is the reignition of one of Memphis hip-hop's most dangerous beefs, and Pooh Shiesty just threw gasoline on a fire that everyone thought was extinguished. The FDO diss wasn't just a rap bar, it was a declaration of war that's about to turn Memphis into a battlefield. The tragic part is that this beef started over loyalty and respect, the same values that hip-hop culture claims to celebrate. But now those same values are driving a conflict that threatens to destroy careers and claim lives. With Pooh Shiesty back on the streets and clearly not interested in peace, and Moneybagg Yo's reputation on the line, this situation is about to reach a deadly climax. The streets are watching, and everyone knows that in Memphis, beef like this doesn't just fade away, it gets settled one way or another. Stay tuned, gang, because this story is far from over, and when the smoke clears, Memphis hip-hop might never be the same.